What's going on, YouTube and Facebook? Welcome to Junior the Big Dog, your favorite father and son duo covering Miami Hurricanes football and sports. If you guys are new to our channel, please subscribe, hit that like button, and the notification bell so you get notified anytime me and the Big Dog do go live. Wednesday, this is the spot. This is where it's at. Miami Hurricanes football, best father and son duo. What's up, Big Dog?
Good, good. How's everybody doing this evening? See some of our guys are here early. Anthony, Orange and Greenblood, Cohen. It's all about the U, Cohen. That's for you, buddy. Gallo Negros, CJ Canes, them Canes. Got a whole bunch of our family, Baby Shaq, Eddie the Cane, Bergie, Gerson. What do you guys say, man? You know, I don't know if you guys might not believe this, but it's the truth. And I swear to you, what do you say, Thomas? I swear to you, it's the truth. When I sign on here, I'm not going to speak for you, so you could talk about Captain Trips, Ben Pratt. I swear to you, I get the same feeling when I see our guys in the chat that I do when you see like a really good friend, you know, or a family member that you haven't seen in a few days. You know, you get that rush of just positive energy of being happy and stuff like that. And I feel the same way, man, when I sign on and get there with you guys. So now we all got to lock hands.
I think the fact that you're doing this with your son is pretty cool too. But I mean,
it is.
That's cool, man. It's all about them, man. It has nothing to do with your son's like, oh, whatever, kick me to the curb.
But really, it's such a good feeling.
We got some new people in here, man. Unless sometimes people like change their names or whatnot. But yeah. K Brew 25 Canes, Chaos Dolphins. What's up, man? Hurricane Andrew. Jamie, what's going on? It's been a while. Yes, it has.
We used to have it, Thomas. Yeah. No, I just, man, when I see you guys, when I sign on here, and obviously doing it with my son is huge, and just signing on and seeing, you know, everybody, or you know, seeing everybody's name, man, it just, I don't know, it's a great feeling. Yes, you see that, Bergie talking about my fresh shave, no longer looking like Santa Claus. But obviously, I'm probably gonna let it grow out again.
I think everybody likes the beard.
Yeah, I think so. I think that whole Santa Claus look, I think, is my thing. So, thank you, Austin. All you guys, man, thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday evening. A lot to talk about. Had some big news today. Navon Donaldson went public with the fact that he is going to redshirt. Doesn't mean he won't play at all, as you guys know. The red shirt rule is you can play 4 games. I know he's still working on rehabbing from the injury that he had. And we talked about it 2 weeks ago on our last show. What do you say, DeMonte? On our last show, we talked about it, that how does Navon Donaldson at 360 pounds fit into this offense? And one of the things that we talked about was he doesn't. You know, Navon has to get to like 325, 330 in order. And by the way, you know, it's not just that weight number. It's what comes along with that weight number. Meaning that in order for you to get down, for Navon to get down to 325, let's say, or 330 at the most, he has to put in the work on the cardio in order to get there. So that way he's going to be able to play in an up-tempo true spread offense where you're running plays quick, which is what Rhett Lashley loves to do. So one of the things, and again, guys, you guys remember what's that?
Chaos Dolphins? I like the name. I like the new name, Chaos.
Thank you so much for joining us, Chaos. One of the things that what do you say, Big Will? It's been a minute since I saw Big Will in there. Always good to see you, Big Will.
Yeah, but shout out to Big Will though. He even when he's not in here on his live, on the actual live, he's always catching on
the rewatch. Yeah, no, Big Will supported us from day one.
What's up, Primo?
Love all you guys.
My real cousin right there.
Now, Thomas Davis to Trent Harris. I do think Austin Keynes, he's talking about Thomas Davis. When I compare him to Trent Harris, I think Thomas Davis has more of a ceiling, has a higher ceiling than Trent Harris. But I see why you make the comparison in terms of comparable sizes and the like. But I do think he has a little bit more athleticism, Austin, than Trent did. but comparable, and I think the role might even be comparable. Obviously, there's a lot to be. He's not a Kane yet. It's still a lot to go. And I think he's going to make. I want to say sometime in August is what he's set to make his decision, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys, but I do see why you compare them. But now let's get back to the Navon thing. For Navon to function in this offense, he has to be no more than 325, 330. And he has to do the cardio and the work to make it there. I think Navon saw the writing on the wall that it wasn't going to work out for him in terms of a lot of playing time at 360 in this offense. It just wasn't.
Not just that, big dog, but I think what factored into his decision was not just putting in the work, cardio wise and weightlifting wise to get to the weight that he needs to get, to compete for a starting spot in this high tempo offense that we're going to see. But he still has some nagging injuries. So,
he does. No, he does.
So he's probably thinking to himself like, man, he still doesn't feel 100%. Imagine trying to work your butt off and then you make an injury worse. A lingering, a nagging injury, you make it worse. So he's like, you know what? Let me go ahead and take a red shirt. Let me get 100% healthy, and then I could go ahead and put in the work and get to the weight that I need to get at. I think that's what it comes down to with Navon Donaldson. Now, and I think it's a smart decision, man, to be honest with you.
I think it's a brilliant decision. The one pushback that I would give you to that is that we're still in June, meaning there was no reason for Navon to think that he couldn't be at 100% injury-wise come September.
No. Correct. But my only point is you can't go all out and lose 20, 30 pounds and get to a weight you need to get at if you have a nagging injury.
Okay.
I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, no, I'll buy that. But I also think that when he sat down speaking with the coaches, Navon Donaldson has the ability to play at the next level. Okay?
Yeah.
But sure. I think somebody got in his ear and said, Navon, if you are 325 at 330, you could be a legit NFL prospect. At 360, 370, a lot of teams are running up tempo.
Right.
I
see you, Gallo Negro. I see you. He sent me a picture of how he's watching us on the TV. He's in the building.
Cool.
He said,
"That's cool." But no, he has to get down. He has to reshape his bodies because it's not just the weight; it's the bad weight.
That's a good point, Tony. No, listen, man. I understand it takes discipline, but he has been.
That's fair, though. You can't.
Yeah, that's fair.
What Tony said is fair. That's legit. I mean, the young man. This is his 4th year in the program.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, he's 23 years old, I believe. Time to start applying that discipline, and you have the ability there. You have a great strength and conditioning coach in David Feely. You have all the support of the program behind you.
Right.
Okay, all of us saw him as a true freshman and thought to ourselves, "Oh my, we got something special with Navon Donaldson."
Right.
Okay, but you pop in a tape from last year, which was his 3rd year in the program. Because his 2nd year, okay, you want to give him a mulligan because of what happened, that they tried to switch him to tackle, which physically, you remember, you and I talked about it. I thought he was physically made to be a tackle, but you had the issue in terms of not having the feet for it, even though he has the length. But then that 2nd year, I give him a mulligan because we did play musical chairs with him in terms of moving him out to tackle and moving him back in. That wasn't the case year 3. Okay, yes, he was on the left side instead of the right side, but there was no reason for him not to be dominant. And we saw one of the things that I talked about with somebody about the play that he did, playing against in FSU, going up against Marvin Wilson. Okay, listen, he has the talent to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you need to have the discipline. You need to have the discipline. Thomas, he didn't want to play tackle. No, and really, when we got him originally, you could ask Junior. I was thinking of him as a tackle always.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I always thought that. Well, listen,
I feel like a lot of people did.
Yeah,
like the majority of people out there thought he was gonna be, you know, an anchor tackle for years to come, man. It didn't work out, man. But look, maybe we see something similar to what we saw with Chad Thomas. I don't mean to pick on Chad Thomas, but
no.
And I'm not saying that Donaldson was as highly rated as Chad Thomas coming out of high school, but the comparisons are there in a sense of we expected so much from Chad Thomas. We didn't really get that production, but we saw flashes of it in his last year. And that eventually, you know, got him drafted, and he's in the NFL and whatnot. So it's not impossible, man. Listen, he takes a red shirt, he gets healthy, he gets to the weight that he needs to be at, and we could see, you know, we could see him be a good piece with experience. That's one thing that people are talking about is now we're going to be lacking even more experience on the offensive line.
True, that's true.
You know, so
I mean, that's a reality of it. You know, but I do think from Navaughn Donaldson's point of view, I think it was a very mature decision on his part.
I think it was too. And I just think it's smart, man. I just think it's a smart decision. I just don't think it's realistic. Like I said, man.
Oh, it hurts us depth-wise for sure. I mean, he can only play in 4 games.
Right. But like you for you guys that play sports, man, or you guys work out, you know, whatever it is, if you guys have a goal weight, okay, let's just say you want to lose 30 pounds, or you want to lose 40 pounds, or you want to gain muscle. I mean, whatever it is. And you're working towards that goal, and all of a sudden, you get a sprained ankle. Or
I got you.
Or you get dinged up. And it's like all of a sudden that goal or that light at the end of the tunnel that you might have seen when you were good, when you were healthy, that goal starts, you know, distancing itself, you know, from you. So I mean, listen, he was battling injuries last year. I don't think he's 100% healthy yet. And the fact that he knows what the work that he needs to put in order to be able to have a starting spot on this offensive line in Rhett Lashlee's offense, he knows what he has to put in. So he knows where the goal's at.
But to Tony's point, though, that discipline should have come earlier. Because if it did come earlier, we're talking about an All-American.
But he's had nagging injuries. It feels like it's almost the entirety of his career at the U, man.
Dude, he started. No, he hasn't. That's not fair.
Nagging injuries, man.
And you don't think the nagging injuries has something to do with the fact that he got as heavy as 380?
I can't push you back on that one.
You're going to have nagging injuries where you're carrying around 50, 60, 70 pounds of bad weight.
Yeah. We'll see, man.
Now, it doesn't take away from the fact that I applaud the decision. And yes, it hurts us depth-wise in 2020, no doubt. Okay. But I applaud the decision. And if he takes that time and coming 2021, I see a 330-pound Navaughn Donaldson without that bad weight, look out. Because I think he's a force. Listen, you talked about Chad Thomas comparison, okay, that he wasn't rated as high as Chad. Navaughn was a top 10 offensive tackle in the country. Yeah. He was a high 4-star.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was expected to bring great things. And then starting as a freshman, being a freshman All-American.
Right.
What did we say? Oh, my God, we got ourselves a stud now. And then you remember prior to his second season that they were going to try to switch to tackle. I was really excited for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the opportunity has been there. Now, the fact that he's matured and said, okay, you know what? Oh, also saying, and that is, there is people that say that he might transfer. I don't. Also, I'll say this. If we have the type of season that I think we're going to have, I don't expect him to transfer. I expect him just to do exactly what he said. Red shirt and come back 2021 ready to roll.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see him transferring.
I don't see him transferring either. But that's a possibility. But I do think we'll have the season that'll keep
possibility that anybody transfers, but
right, that'll keep him here. And again, I think it was a good decision. I think it was because remember,
if he transfers, doesn't he have to sit out regardless?
Well, that's the thing. He would have to sort of, if he wants to use this as a sit out year, he'd have to declare that before the season's over in order to get credit for that to be his sitting out year.
Right.
But he's also very possibly graduating already, so it wouldn't matter because he could transfer immediately as a graduate transfer.
As a graduate transfer, that's true.
Right. So, but the thing is this, and I'm not breaking my arm, patting ourselves on the back. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. And what do we keep saying?
No,
I don't see.
I'm the one that said it.
No, we both said that.
I'm the one that I said that I don't see Donaldson starting. Did I not?
I thought that we both said that.
No, your original starting five, you had Donaldson as guard, and I pushed back.
Right. And you said that. I said, yeah, you're right.
I'm just busting your job, big dog.
No, but that's what we talked about 2 weeks ago. Is a 360 Devon Donaldson can't play in this offense.
He can't.
He can't start in this offense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Rhett Lashlee, guys, people forget this. Rhett Lashlee at SMU, they were third in the country in number of plays per game.
Right.
Okay, that means Rhett Lashlee is go. It's up tempo the entire time. Yeah. Maybe he puts it back. If you're up, 40 points, whatever, then maybe he throttles back. But Rhett Lashlee's idea, over 80 plays a game on average, that's a whole lot of plays.
Yeah, it is.
So it has to be up tempo, and that's one of the things that we talked about on our previous show was, is he going to be a starter on this offense as up tempo as it is at 360? And he's not. And I think he realized that. So listen, bravo to him. I think it was a mature, intelligent decision. I think it's what's best for his future and his career. And let's see. Hopefully, we get a newer and improved Devon Donaldson for 2021, and he can still play 4 games. Let's not forget that.
That's true.
Hurricane Millie with the yeah. Millie's right. Go ahead and with the donation. Thank you, Millie, for the donation.
Thank you, Hurricane Millie, man. He says Donaldson ate his way into a red shirt.
Tell me that's not 100% true.
I mean, man,
that's 100% true. He's a U guy, and we're going to root for him forever, and all of that stuff. But
if you stay,
that's true. All right.
All right.
What else
next
do you guys
topic.
want to talk about? Yeah,
Is Jake Garcia coming to Miami? Yes or no?
Yes.
Ooh. That was a quick pulling the trigger there, big dog. That's it. You're sold. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Anthony, all right, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for joining.
Oh yeah, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and please hit the like button. It really does help us.
Absolutely.
And Anthony says, how does the clinic for the draft work for redshirt players in college football? They have to wait or play 1 year or two before they declare. Anthony, technically, he could have declared really for this draft if he wanted to. I don't. He could declare after the season and go pro if he wanted to. I don't think he's going to because I don't think he'd get drafted.
I didn't mean to take
so
you off,
he needs to play. What did you do?
I took Hurricane Millie's donation off the screen by mistake because I was trying to play with something here.
Oh, sorry about that, Billy.
Whoops! Phone line is not open. Phone line is not open.
But I don't, Anthony, to answer the gist of the question, I don't see Navon trying to go pro until he plays that last year. I think he needs to. So
yeah. Oh, Gaio Negro mentioned it, and Lakers All Day is talking about it. How surprised were you at James Williams putting us in his top 2, considering that he didn't put us in his top 3?
Honestly, not very.
Not very.
Not very surprised. I think James Williams is going to be a Hurricane as long as we don't poop the bed in 2020.
Now the question is,
if we have a 10-win season,
what is he going to play what position is he going to play at the University of Miami?
That's a good question.
Because I know he wants to be a safety.
I know.
And I know he would be a heck of a safety. But that man is not going to stay
Let
at
me ask you a question.
220.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
Okay. If you're a linebackers coach, you're Manny Diaz, by the way. Okay, because that was his thing, was linebackers. You see James Williams, what comes in your head first?
I mean, where he's at right now?
Do you want him as a safety or would you want him as an outside linebacker?
Based on the way, the projection of the way, you guys got to look at the frame of James Williams, all right? Because it's not just
that he's tall, guys.
Right.
That's the thing that I want people to understand. You know, they bring up Isaiah Simmons. That's a good point. That's a very good point. I think he would be a great striker. I'm not going to say striker.
So.
No, I agree. I misspoke. I don't mean necessarily striker. What I do mean is using him like Isaiah Simmons, because they use Isaiah Simmons all over the place.
Yeah. Listen, man.
They blitzed him as an outside linebacker. They use him as a striker. They put him at safety. They put Isaiah Simmons, I think, over the course.
But the way that this young man is growing,
I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I do think James Williams has a really high ceiling. I understand the point about Simmons running a 4.4. Okay, but James Williams is an athlete. Now, I don't, as a true just safety, man, I don't think you're maximizing his ability. I don't think you're maximizing his ability.
Yo, yeah, Millie, he's 6'5", 220 right now.
And the thing is, I want people to understand, it's not just that he's 6'5". Yeah, it's not just that he's 6'5". Is that dude's frame?
Man, he looks like he could be 240, 250.
Easy.
And then you're looking at, he could be a pass rusher.
Greg Rousseau 2.0?
Listen, man. Man. Yeah, thank you, Maccabee. Look, he just said it right now. He said Jaron Williams, not Jaron. I almost said Jaron Williams. He said James Williams will end up being at least 240, 250.
Exactly.
And then you're gonna have a 6'5", 250-pound safety.
that's the thing. Like, it's not crazy, just and the thing is, like I said, it's I think a lot of people haven't really seen what James looks like.
Yeah, I know, man.
James Williams don't look like a safety in high school.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that they could use him in a role similar to Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, look, a guy Oneto saying he put his hand on the ground. If he's 240, if he's 240, 250, let's just say, man, you bring in James Williams, and he could. I mean, listen, how much weight did? And I'm not comparing the two. Okay, I'm not comparing the two. Their ages were different, but Jalen Phillips was like at 215.
Right, walking around rate. His walking around rate was like
his walking around rate was 215. He's 264 last time we saw it, man. So imagine James Williams. That's what I see when I think about James Williams. I see him. I see that being a real possibility. Him being 6'5", 250, 260, like a guy never said. You could put his hand.
Let me ask you a question right now.
And if he's 235, if he's 240. Put him at linebacker.
Okay, let's say right now, if I show you a picture of James Williams where you can't see his face, right? From the neck down, in shorts and no shirt. That's a grown-ass man.
No, it is, man.
You know, that's not a kid. That's a grown man already.
Right.
Okay, and he still has a year of high school.
Right.
Okay, when that dude hits a college-level strength and conditioning program, like you said, 6'5", 250, 260. You're definitely not going to be playing safety.
Yeah, no.
So that's the thing.
But
I do know
he really wants to play safety.
I know he wants to play safety. I get it, man. I get it. But I don't think you're maximizing your talent when you're putting him at safety.
Right.
What the role I see in James Williams is that Isaiah Simmons role. Oh, Tony, thank you so much, man.
Tony Clad. What's going on, Tony?
Thank you so much for the donation, Tony. Check it out. $30 donation. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. At 320 at 330, Donald said with an extra year of working with Garen Justice is a potential third rounder or higher. That's a good point, man. And not just Garen Justice,
100% true.
But Feely as well, man. That strength and conditioning program. Listen, and that's why I brought up Chad Thomas, because listen, he could do it, man.
Navaughn Donaldson, a three. I'll go further than that. Yeah, I agree though.
Thank you so much for the donation, Tony.
Thank you for the donation, Tony. I agree with your positioning in the draft. A 325, 330. Navaughn absolutely could be a third round or higher. I think that Navaughn Donaldson that we're talking about, that's his ceiling, is that All-American caliber player. Let's not forget that. He has that talent. But he needs to, like you said, what do you need it with? A 320 to 330.
That's where he needs to be.
Unknown Faith for the donation also.
Thank you so much for the dono. Unknown Faith, man, $2 donation. He says James Williams coming. If we bag and win games, if we give him that bag.
I can't. I'm not going to comment on the bag part. But we definitely need to win games. I think if we got a 10-win season, I think James Williams is a Hurricane.
Listen, man.
If we don't, then I don't. Then I don't think he is.
Listen, man. Can we just sit back and really take this in as a fan base? Because I've been giving it a lot of thought, man. We're coming off a 6-7 year, man. We're coming off of getting shut out by Louisiana Tech. And look at the noise and the traction that we're making with certain recruits. The transfers, Isaiah Walker coming through, Romelo Brinson. And not just that, but they're out there recruiting guys. They're out there recruiting James Williams. They're out there hashtag Garcia to the U. Listen, man, the traction that we have and the possibilities that we have with some recruits, the Palmetto 5, listen, all we got to do is win, man, and we could put together one of the best classes, in my opinion, in Miami Hurricanes history, the next recruiting cycle. We could do it, man.
Which goes back to my point from a couple of months ago, was that we're going to start doing the recruiting videos, the same things that we did last year, guys. So it's not that I'm not going to do it. We're going to do those. But I think right now, as we sit here on June 24th, our recruiting class in December, the early signing period, we have no idea what that's going to look like. Because I think if we have that 10-win season, that I think we're going. Listen, Vegas put our over-under at 9. Vegas has us at 9 as the over-under for number of wins. So a 10, 11-win season isn't out of the question.
Right.
And if we have that season, the class that we have in December looks nothing like the class that we have right now. And I like the class that we have right now. But if we have that season, then you're looking at James Williams. Then you're looking at possibly doubling that at the Palmetto 5. Oh my God! If you ask me, I mean,
I don't think we get Collier or Marshall.
Marshall. If you gave me a choice between Marshall and Taylor, I'll give you an idea how high I think of Taylor. I have to think about that one.
What do you mean?
That's how much I love Leonard Taylor.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, 100%.
What I'm saying
I think Leonard Taylor.
To me, the two best players on there are Jason Marshall and Leonard Taylor.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
But having a D tackle like that,
amen.
Oof.
Amen.
Oof. Does that make a defense?
Hey, we got a $5 dono from Bergie.
Thank you, Bergie.
He says, I'll tell you what, the pay for play will have a huge effect on James Williams and Garcia for the 2021 season. We have a good 2020. Everything after is gravy, baby. Yes,
boom.
Man. I agree.
Boom. 100% agree, Bergie. And that's why I'm saying that the class in December is going to be completely different than the class it is right now. If we have that type of year that I think we're going to have. And Gallo Negro too with a donation. Thank you so much, Gallo Negro.
Thank you, man. He says, "Look at Junior sounding all glass half full over Coach Manny Diaz recruitment skills. Not just Manny. Man, yeah, I mean you got to give Manny a lot of the credit, man. But listen,
yeah, but you also have to give Stephen Field a lot of. David Cooney's a beast.
Exactly.
David Cooney is a beast too. So
exactly, man. Listen,
but listen, you guys know we printed Hurricane Millie with a donation. Oh man, thank you so much, Millie.
For another dono, Millie. Thank you so much, man.
But going back to that point, and Gallo Negro knows. I mean, we criticize team management, discipline, all these things that Manny did wrong last year that led us to that horrible season. Right. But when it comes to recruiting, the class that he brought in, even after a 6 and 7 season, keeping that class together, and then I mean, you have Avante.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, after a 6 and 7 season, you yank him away from the Gators.
Yeah.
And then we go out there and get Quincy Roche, Jose Borregales. We get the Eric King of all people. By the way, I got really pissed because they had like an all ACC team, and they didn't put Derek King even second team or third team, which is BS to me. I understand Lawrence being first team.
Who did they put second team and third team?
Sam Howell. They put Sam Howell second team, and they put Micah Campbell, the one from Louisville.
You can make a case.
That takes me off.
You can make an argument, right? But I'm saying
no.
Who?
I understand Trevor Lawrence being number one. I'm not arguing that, but De'Aaron King should have been second team ahead of Howell.
Yeah, but he's basically a year removed from playing, big dog.
Okay. I'll take that.
So that's my only point about when it comes to there's an argument to be made with Howell.
Right.
But 13? At least 13.
No. Come on. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all.
You know, hey man, let me read this. Hurricane Millie with another $5 donation, man. Thanks again, Hurricane Millie. I think I said it before.
Thank you.
Thank you again. He says, can boosters start paying players for their likeness?
I don't know when it goes into effect.
Next year. July.
In July next year. Okay. Yeah. The problem is,
but I don't think that's two different things, though.
Yeah, but listen, there's going to be a lot of shady stuff going on.
There's already shady stuff going on, but I mean,
well, that's true. That's true. But now they have a vehicle to try to make it legitimate.
Yeah, I still think
at the end of the day, what do I care about? It benefits the kids. Puts money in their pockets. So I'm for it.
Hey man, it's about damn time.
It is about damn time
when it comes to it. As much as these kids and these coaches and these football programs, you know, as much money as they bring into these universities, man, you know, a lot of these kids, man. I mean, it was long overdue. Frankly, in my opinion, Michael Love, man, with a donation.
Thank you, Michael, so much. Thank you, and he just said thank you guys for the great content. All the best, fellas. Thank you, Michael. Same to you and yours and your family.
Hey, we got 100 people in the chat. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us on this Wednesday evening. If you are new to Junior and the Big Dog, if you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, just a quick plug, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime me and the Big Dog do upload the video. Best father and son duo covering Miami Hurricanes football and sports, man. We do player breakdowns. We cover recruiting. We go live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m., man. So if you guys are new, man, please also, we don't put enough emphasis on this, but share the video, man. You got friends, you got family, whoever it is, man. Throw the link out there, spread the word. Let's get that pyramid going, and let's add some more people to the Junior and the Big Dog family, man. But thank you for everybody joining us tonight. We really appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much. And to go back to that question about the boosters, you know, some of these arguments that I've heard against it infuriate me. Just infuriate me.
Against what? Paying the players?
Against the players getting some money. It makes me angry beyond belief because I heard people saying that football and basketball.
Hold on, Big Dog. I gotta cut you off, man. We got HJS, man. He says, please keep me and my family in your prayers. His father-in-law tested positive for COVID, and me and my fam were with him all weekend. I'm waiting for my results now. HJS, man.
Yeah.
Me and the big dog are big believers in prayer, man, like we always say. So you'll definitely be in our prayers, HJS. Not just you, man, but your father-in-law, man. Hopefully it's not serious, man. Hopefully he gets better, brother, man. And I know you got a little one, Zoe, man. So it's a good thing you got tested, and God willing, man, comes back negative, and everything is all good, man. But anybody else watching, man, if you're in the chat, man, prayers to HJS and anybody else that may be dealing with a similar situation, man. We're big believers in prayer, man. So HJS, you better believe, man, that you'll be in, and me and the big dog praying.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Absolutely, praying for you and your family, HJS, and God willing, man, it's Godspeed, and all of you come out of it without any harm coming to you. So you'll be in our prayers, and please, everybody in the chat, also pray for him and his family.
Absolutely.
The arguments that they were making, that sort of like the football and basketball had to pay the freight for all the other sports.
All right.
And I'm going, wait a second. Let me see if I get this straight. So all this money is going in football and basketball, where we're talking about $1 billion industry, and the players can't take their girlfriends to the movies because they don't have enough money.
All right. I don't know how anybody could seriously stand in front of me, in front of anybody, and make an argument against it.
That's the point. That's why I'm saying it infuriates me.
Yeah.
It infuriates me because you're saying that these young men who are bringing in millions upon millions to the university, no, that they don't deserve any of it.
Yeah.
Coaches getting paid $5 million a year, $4 million a year, $8 million a year. No. But the players, no. You don't get any of it. How many people in 100-mile radius of Clemson University have Trevor Lawrence shirts, do you think? Just give me a number.
Oh, a lot, man.
Pick a number. Within 100 miles of Clemson University, how many people do you think have a Trevor Lawrence jersey?
Thousands, man. Thousands.
Okay. How much of those jerseys cost?
Right.
Depends.
It depends if you get them from China or not.
No, but they're like 100, 100 and change, whatever. They're expensive.
Yeah, the legit ones. Yeah,
the legit ones. Okay, so and Trevor Lawrence gets squadouche.
You ain't against the curveball.
Who's against it?
No, curveball says I'm against it. Fight me, bro.
No, but seriously, man. It's like, because you and I had this conversation well before it even got in the news. Okay, I've been against this forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever. I didn't understand. I know people got upset because everybody loved the old NCAA football games on Xbox and stuff, and I get it. They were awesome.
They were awesome.
But the fact is, you were using the names of players, their likeness.
Technically, they weren't. They weren't.
No, I'm talking about the old ones.
The old ones had the names on them. No, the old ones didn't have the names.
I believe so. When Ed O'Bannon, the basketball player, brought the lawsuit against EA Sports, I believe back then they were using players' names. Somebody, if you guys want to fact check me that. But I believe they were using players' names.
I remember that just being the old ones. Richard Hill says
the old ones, right?
Okay.
Yeah, the old ones. Okay, so you're going to use EA Sports did not give those NCAA games away, did they?
Well, I mean, they had, for these games, they didn't have the mascot on the cover of the game. They would have players on the cover of the
exactly
the game.
Right.
So I mean,
okay, and they charged what $60 per game, $50 per game. Even back in the day, they were like $50.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeffrey, man.
So, and the players have to, scrounge to go to McDonald's. Yeah, get out of here, man. Yeah, I don't understand. To me, the arguments against it were BS. We're just BS. It's people that want to keep the status quo because it's the status quo.
Okay, yeah, a lot of people are saying that you had to download a roster, but EA Sports didn't put the names on the game.
Right.
That's what
Richard Hill said Edoban and Sudom.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But
yeah, I mean that's the thing is I don't understand the argument against players getting money.
Anthony, I didn't see your comment, buddy, man. I'm sorry. You got if you could put it back in here.
From anybody. I just don't understand the comment against it.
Yeah. But back to the main point on why we got on this topic. What kind of impact do you think that's going to have in terms of, Florida being one of the few states that's going to pass the law in the near future? And
I think that has to become the law all over the country. We need to strike. We need to strike hard because 5 years from now, I think it'll be the law all over. Right. So we need to take it to advantage.
NCAA has no choice but to cave because how are you going to police this?
Right.
This obviously just gives schools that are going to put this and states that are going to put this law into place a leg up over other schools that are not.
Before it goes, put Bergie's comment up there.
Where you at, Bergie? Bergie says, you want to talk about people being screwed on likeness and such? Look what UFC is doing to fighters with the Reebok contract. The fighters get peanuts compared to the merch sold. I'm pleading ignorance to this. I don't know what he's talking about.
I do. I'm a big UFC guy.
You're a lot more into UFC.
Bergie, I'm so glad you brought up that point because I want to tie it to what's going on with University of
I have no idea.
Not just University of Miami with college football. Okay, what UFC did back in the day before they got the Reebok contract, fighters, if you guys remember, I don't know how many of you are UFC fans. I'm a big UFC guy. I went back to 1993, like the first one. So fighters would sell, would be, X company. Okay, I'm going to use their trunks. And then they would sell ad space on their trunks and fighters would make that money, right? UFC said, no. We're going to get that money. So not only did they sign a contract with Reebok, they made these UFC fighters couldn't have their sponsorships. Right? So it's one of the reasons why you see like UFC fighters, they win and somebody brings them a Monster energy drink and stuff like that because, that's part of making the money. Now, and that's a perfect point, Bergie, which is why I want to tie it into college sports. Those UFC fighters, they're risking their not just their well-being, they're risking their lives, basically. Okay,
not basically. They are, man.
They are. Okay, and the company that is the number one company in mixed martial arts decides, oh no, we're going to get money from Reebok, so now you aren't going to get that money anymore. Okay, so how is that any different? What do you say, Richie? How is that any different than what college football and college basketball has been doing forever? And the only reason I pick out those sports because those sports are the moneymakers. All the other sports are negatives in terms of money for you might find a baseball program here and there that at least breaks even or makes a little bit of money. I think Miami baseball might be one of those because they always get a real nice crowd at Mark Light. But for the most part, football and basketball are the money makers in all of college sports. Okay, so they're supposed to support the men's whatever. I'm trying to come up with water polo, the men's water polo team and the women's soccer team and all this stuff, but the players can't get a cut. To me, that's BS. That's just BS.
I agree, man.
So I am really happy that it's happening, and we'll see. We'll see how it looks like because we don't know what it looks like yet. We don't know what it looks like.
No, we don't.
But let's see what happens.
The fact that the law is going to go into effect next year in Florida, what's the NCAA going to do, big dog? They have to do something. Right or wrong? Big dog.
They're going to have to make it. They're going to have to make it
UF, FSU, Miami,
California teams also.
Well, yeah,
they have a law
but
like that.
Yeah,
but I think theirs starts after ours.
I think it was 2022.
It passed before ours, right? It passed before ours, but it starts after ours. Yeah. Ours starts first, right?
Right. So
they'll have an unfair advantage, absolutely.
So it works in our in our favor right now. So
put Anthony Manzano, and we'll talk about that now.
Oh, there you go. He says, Big Dog, in your opinion, what happens to Clemson recruiting class coming from a Hurricanes perspective after the racist comments Dabo Swinney made recently?
I don't think it's going to have much of an impact, because you have to remember if this would have happened in December, right before National Signing Day, I think that it would have some legs. It would and actually cause a problem for them. But being that it's still so far away from National Signing Day, if Clemson has a big season, I think he'll keep rolling with the class. I don't think it's going to make it a problem. And yeah, it was an assistant. I think that the criticism for Dabo came from his reaction to not disciplining the assistant, and his reaction afterwards when they asked him about it is what the controversy was. I don't think it'll affect them. I think it would have if it happens closer to National Signing Day. So,
Junior,
or Greenblatt said that he has stepped away. So just in case, Cohen, it's all about you, buddy. I didn't know if Cohen had heard that before.
9 summers. I look like Drake. Drizzy. A lot of people say I look like Drake. Speaking of Drake, when is he gonna drop an album, man?
You've always looked like Drake. Yeah, that's been the thing. Even when you were young, well, you had facial hair and stuff at a young age, just like me. So even when you were young, people thought you looked like Drake.
Big Dog, but you know what's crazy is that now that my hair's starting to grow out again, you guys can't see, man. You can't see it. No.
Oh,
you guys can't see the amount of white hairs.
Oh yeah, you got. Yeah.
Oh my. No, Big Dog. You do not understand, man.
Yeah, guys. I started going gray in my 20s. And my old man was the same thing, and now Junior's the same thing.
My wife actually stopped me and started and recorded before I got a haircut. She recorded, and then I was just like in awe of how much white hair. Like it looked like it was shining, dude. Especially in the sunlight. Man, I'm gonna get that white hair quick, completely, like you and my grandfather.
Yeah, look. I mean, when you guys have seen my hair, I shaved my head for a long time, and it's funny because people thought, when people shave their heads, they think that it was because they're going bald, and I was like, I shaved my head for the exact opposite reason. It was because in order, like in a business setting, to keep it neat, I got so much hair that it's hard to keep neat, so I used to just shave my head. But my hair started turning white already, and I'm not even gray. It was gray in my 20s into my 30s.
No, I don't have. No, but you're misunderstanding. I don't have gray hairs. I have
it's white hairs. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I'm wise, man. You know what it is.
Gray
I'm
means
wise,
wisdom.
I'm wise beyond my years.
I agree.
100%.
I agree. Yeah, Orange and Green Blood said that Dabo wore a Football Matters shirt. I did hear about it. I didn't see the picture of it, but I did hear.
Yeah, Dabo for having a Football Matters t-shirt.
And Austin was asking about Terry and Arnold and Chase Smith. Austin, again, the one thing, in all fairness, man, I don't see how anybody can criticize Manny and the staff in terms of recruiting. We've out recruited our position, and so I do think we have a shot at them. And I think if we have that special season that we can have, I think we got a shot with whoever we go after.
Yeah.
Janelle, thank you so much.
This is actually funny. The first time I see you, Janelle. So thank you so much for joining us and for your contributions to the Junior the Big Dog family. She says, Junior, do you call your papa Big Dog when you aren't recording? You could answer that. You could answer that.
Yeah, he does. He's called me Big Dog. And I used to play a lot of I played softball, like real competitive softball, like tournaments and stuff into my 40s. And everybody would call me Big Dog, and then that's how really I think that's the way you started calling me Big Dog, because he would go to my games and stuff like that. Is that the way you started?
I don't know, man. I've been calling you Big Dog for such a long time. I don't know when I started calling you Big Dog.
Yeah, I don't call him Junior though.
Yeah, no,
a lot of other people call him Junior. I have a nickname for him since he was a little boy, and it was Carlucho because his first name is Carlos, so I would call him Carlucho. But so every once in a while it'll slip on the show, and I'll say Carlucho. But a lot of people call him Junior. In fact, up here in Ohio, for the company that I worked for a long time, they all know him as Junior. They all call him Junior. So,
I think that's where.
Yeah, I think it was started was up here in Ohio. People
it was definitely because nobody calls me Junior down here.
Yeah,
nobody calls you. Am I an actual Junior? Yes, I'm an actual Junior.
Yes, he has my exact name.
Exact name.
You guys, I'll tell you a funny story. It's gonna be a little corny and cutesy, but it's true. He was. It was a difficult birth because he went past due. He was like 3 weeks past due, and his mom, I kept taking her to the hospital, and they kept walking the parking lot, and because she wasn't in labor, and it was like, oh, maybe you have the time wrong, all this stuff. So on one of those visits, we did not want to know what the sex was until he was born. But on one of those visits that they were checking her out, the doctor says, you guys want to know his, want to know the sex.
Yeah.
And I looked at his mom. She looked at me. We were like, okay. And he goes, he's a boy, right? And I'm going to embarrass him now, but the nurse, they had the curtain all around her because they were doing it on her stomach. And the nurse said, hey, doctor, be careful. Sometimes you can make a mistake. And the doctor says, well, you come here and take a look at this and tell me if that could be a mistake. And she looked at the picture and went, yeah, that's a boy for sure. Like that. So I went home and I literally went crazy. I mean, nuts. Like, and in the parking structure we were at, like people are just walking by me, and here's this big, huge guy going up to him. It's a boy, like that. And so that was the funny story was that I guarantee you the people were scared to death because here's this big guy going crazy and just screaming at complete strangers. It's a boy. It's a boy. So yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And I
have nothing to add to that because I was
you were
very young.
The one thing I will tell you though is the day he was born, his mom felt really, really bad. I took her to the hospital and they were going to send us home.
Wait, hold on. Wait a second.
And you know that story.
No, wait, hold on. Gallo Negro with a $2 donation. See what I deal with at Janelle. Wait a second, Gallo Negro. Is that
significant other?
Significant other? Is that what it is? I'm not sure. I don't know.
I think so. Thank you so much for joining us. I was Mark. Thank you so much. And I'll tell you the funny. So that was like at 2 a.m. The day he was born. Because he was born at 10:35. They were at night. His mom.
Speaking of which, man, I'm sorry to cut you off, but a big happy Father's Day to everybody in here.
Oh yes,
and absolutely. I hope that everybody had a good Father's Day, man. So shout out to all the daddies out there.
Okay, so
so that is his significant other. So
yes, okay,
nice.
Janelle was asking, our exact name is Carlos Antonio Rivero. That's and he's Carlos Antonio Rivero Jr.
You just throwing it out there, huh? Why don't you just give him my social while you're at it, man?
No, anyways, when I was telling you about that whole story about him being born, so we have been in a hospital. I'm not exaggerating, 12 times, 14 times, something around there. And that day, she was feeling really bad. His mom was feeling really bad, and I actually asked to talk to the doctor outside, and I told the doctor, one of you two is being admitted. Either she's admitted or you're going to be admitted. And he looked at me. He said, "You're threatening me?" I said, "No, I'm promising you, I'm not going to drive him home and lose my son in the car." And he said, well, I'll do an amnio test. And when they did the amnio test, see how much fluid was left, there was like no fluid left in her stomach. So basically,
Big Dog basically probably most likely saved my life and my mom's life, maybe, possibly.
Yeah,
so
because, and I did. I told him,
it's a good thing. It's a good thing you're a crazy Cuban.
Yeah, my exact words to him was either she admits it, either you admit her, or I admit you. That was my exact words.
Well,
and for that, and his mom, by the way, 16 hours of labor, because labor didn't start until whatever. See, 16 hours at 6 a.m. They gave her the drug that causes the contractions, that Pitocin, I believe it's called, and she was in labor that entire time without even as much as a Tylenol.
Yeah, my OG was.
Dude, talk about an OG. She is an OG. She is an OG because she did that whole 16 hours of labor without even as much as a Tylenol. She was old school. So it was like, well, whatever you give me, that's going to affect him. So I don't want any painkillers. And it was like, man, she was a champ.
Janelle says, I don't have an option but to join y'all with Gallo in my life. That's what's up.
That's awesome. Thank you, Gallo, for bringing her to us. So
absolutely.
We're going to make you part of the Junior and Big Dog family.
So
you got no choice.
Yeah, for sure. So what else we got, man?
Oh, thank you, Janelle, for the donation. She said for saving lives. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Janelle.
I don't see it yet. Thank you so much. Oh, there it is. Boom. Thank you so much, Janelle.
Yeah, what do you guys want to talk about?
Oh, Big Dog, I would like to bring something up. So I'm a little worried.
Okay. About
having a football season, man.
Oh, I know, man. I know.
So Clemson, what was it? 20-something players tested positive. For COVID.
Yeah, and LSU had like a big number in quarantine too.
So, yeah, man. To be honest, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's looking good. And considering the spikes that we're starting to see, I mean, obviously there's being, a lot more testing is being done, which is leading up to the higher cases and stuff like that. A lot of people are getting tested because obviously a lot of people are going to work.
Right.
So the good thing is that we're not seeing the number of cases correlating exactly to the number of people in the hospital. So that's a good sign. But the younger people, man, are getting COVID, man. So
yeah, here's at first, and thank you, Big Will, and thank you everybody for all the nice wishes for Father's Day. And we will, Richard, we'll go to the linebacker depth here in a second. There was a time, you guys know, we talked about on the show that I was positive we were going to have a season because football has a different place. If one of the things that COVID did, it really showed the difference between football and every other sport in our country. It really did. Okay, because look at in the middle of the COVID thing, look at the ratings that the NFL draft got. Think about that. There was I think it was 17 million people saw the first round of the NFL draft. A whole bunch of people walking around talking about 22-year-olds and no game, but 17 million people watched that. That's a big crowd for Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
So I always thought when it comes to COVID, I thought, well, football is different. Football has a different place in our life. And they really showed it because even Fauci realized that football is different than baseball and basketball and everything else. Football, we are so ingrained to that sport. And there's people that probably don't even watch a game from beginning to end that have their fantasy football team. Okay? That are guys that never even played the sport, probably never even watch a full game unless it's their team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And they have fantasy football teams. So at one point, I was 100% positive that we were going to have football. Oh, Electric Kane recovered from COVID. Oh, thank God, Electric Kane.
Absolutely.
God bless you, man. I'm glad you did recover.
And a shout out to Nine Summers. Says I first started watching you guys last year because of the Florida Miami game, and I wanted some inside intel on those damn Canes, and I've been rocking with you guys ever since.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man.
God bless, man. Thank you so much. That confidence that I had that we're going to have a football season is waning a little bit, guys, because like I said, I realized that everybody else realized the position that football holds in our society. But when you start seeing 20 some odd players test positive, you're going to see, and that's just starting now, guys. We're still in June. Okay. So what happens come September, just to pick out something? Let's say we're playing Temple, right? We're scheduled to play Temple. 12 of their players come back positive and are under quarantine. Okay. Then you find out they contact trace, and instead of 12, it becomes 25.
Mm-hmm.
And 16 of them are starters. What does Temple do? Cancel the game.
Right.
Okay. So I'm seeing that it's going to be very, very difficult to have a true football season. It really is. Eddie Kane said LSU had 30 players.
A true. I mean,
okay. And guys, here's the reality of it. Young people do very well with this disease. Some don't.
Right.
Some don't. Okay. Yes, it's a numbers game.
And we're seeing a lot more young people being affected as well, man.
And there's been, you guys, I don't know if you guys heard about the lacrosse player. I forgot for what school he played lacrosse, but he was a really good, was it Johns Hopkins? Anyways, it was a young lacrosse player who was perfectly healthy.
Yeah. And
young man died from COVID.
Right.
Okay. So, and I hate to say this, but if you have, 700, 800, 900, 1,000 kids, football players I'm talking about, that end up with COVID, a couple of them are not going to make it. And what happens when one of them doesn't make it? When two of them don't make it?
Yes, that's something you don't want to see, man. You don't want to see. And selfishly, we want sports, and selfishly, we want football, and selfishly, we want to see our Canes, win a natty this year. But I mean, listen, hey, the kids and their health, man, it's number one, and it's the priority above everything. You know what I'm saying? And I know, what you don't want to see is, so obviously these schools are concerned, and the NCAA is concerned of how much money they're going to lose out on, man. But priority is the health of the kids, man. And if we start seeing a spike in cases, with all these kids, what other choices are you going to have? Yeah. So I mean, it's just and the dynamic, the ins and outs of it, and the dynamics of it is what makes me pessimistic when it comes to looking at this year. Because okay, so if you're not going to have a full season, then what kind of season you're going to have? So then if Temple cancels the game, then how's that going to work with the schedule? And then if you can't travel to Michigan, then how's that going to, you understand what I'm saying? So I just think it's either yes or no, man.
Yeah.
Either you're going to have a season or you're not going to have a season. And if you do have a season,
how
you're talking about not just how you're going to have it, but high possibility that we're going to see what happened to the NBA. Season's going on, and all of a sudden, players start testing positive.
Captain Trips said it. What do you say, Captain Trips? And Logan, what do you say, Logan?
What's up, Logan?
Captain Trips said it perfectly. He said, "God forbid, but if that happens, it's over."
Yeah, 100%, man.
It's over. I mean, and that's the truth. And guys, please don't misinterpret this, because I don't want to sound flippant. A young person losing his life is terrible. But my point was, if you end up going into the season, that's going to happen.
Right.
Law of numbers. I think it was Bergie was saying statistics in sports, but this time the stat is a human life, which was and Bergie, you remember I pushed back because I was really confident at one time that we were going to have a season because of
but you also said, to your credit, we have no freaking idea what it's gonna look like.
We don't.
Not just June. We don't know what it's gonna look like in July and August, September. We just have no idea, man. We really don't.
One thing that's been proven with this whole COVID thing is you can't plan for next week. Okay, right now as we sit here, you guys know that I'm active in the special ed community in the district here where I live. We had a meeting, and in the meeting I said, basically, why are we having this meeting? Because we were talking about next year, about the fall, and they had the school board, the superintendent, me, and a couple of other people from the special ed committee. And it was literally, you guys have no idea what August, because now I can't even say September anymore, because now school starts like the middle of August. You guys have no idea what August looks like, because we don't. Come August, we could be in a lockdown, or we could be phase 5, phase 4 of the opening, and back to normal.
I think it's only 3.
Is it 3? I thought it was phase 4. I think phase 4 was like more complete reopening.
Okay.
Yeah, but and the reality is we don't know what next week looks like.
Right.
Okay, because now you're seeing, I think it's 8 states have a rise in hospitalizations. Well, we have talked about this before. The number that to me is important is hospitalizations, because the more you test, the more positives you're going to find. The less you test, the less positive you're going to find. But if you see hospitalizations rising, you have a problem.
Well, they're going up in Jackson and
8 states. They said 8 states have a rise in hospitalization.
Well, I'm talking about Jackson Memorial. Jackson Memorial is supposedly being flooded, and to your point, Unknown Faith. I have a good friend of mine lives in Homestead, and like 5 minutes from his house, I forgot the name of the hospital, and they're being overrun with patients that have tested positive for COVID. So, and then I hear hospitals like Mercy, for example, are like at 30% capacity. So, I mean, that's another thing, man. It's hard to really gauge exactly.
They don't know. Yeah. I mean, anything's possible. Said talk about European soccer leagues that they've been somewhat successful resuming their season. Henny, I'm hopeful. That's why I'm still hopeful. So I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it's a little worrisome. It's a little worrisome because when you actually get to September and that season starts in earnest, how many hiccups are we going to have? How many canceled games? How many, restrictions? How many? It's and the problem is, and Nine Summers said something. Put their comment and read their comment real quick.
So I work at UF, and they have the players isolated away from everyone. They don't even walk around campus. They only go to the indoor practice facility for players run practice and strength and conditioning.
Nine Summers, that makes me feel better. That does.
But that's going to change once the games get popping. You're going to be coming into contact with a lot of people.
Yeah. Now, Logan, in terms of hospitalizations, the reason why I look at that number, because it really doesn't increase just as testing. Because for somebody to be hospitalized, it's because they're having extreme symptoms. So that number is the number that I watch, because if I tested 10,000 people today and I tested 20,000 tomorrow, of course I'm going to get a lot more positives tomorrow, but it doesn't mean that the infection is spreading. Yeah. Hospitalizations will tell you if it's spreading. And if that number starts going up, you have issues, and that apparently is a case in like 8 different states.
Yeah.
Which,
and the risk
going up could be.
Go ahead. What are you saying?
What's that? No, I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off. What'd you say?
That the requisites for getting tested aren't what they were in the beginning as well. They're not as strict.
You needed symptoms.
You needed a bunch of symptoms. You needed. So I mean now, and you're seeing COVID testing facilities and walk-ins.
To give you an idea, They were testing 100,000 people a day in the country. They're testing over 500,000 a day.
Yeah.
Now, so but when the hospitalizations start rising, that's when you know it's spreading. Because now it's not about just more people being tested. Now more people are getting severely sick.
And we still don't know, man. We still don't know the severity of this infection.
And one of the things we've talked about is vaccine. No. Yeah. I mean, listen, the death rate is going down, which is good news. Okay.
The death.
Go ahead.
When you look at the percentages, my point.
Correct.
Like, there's so many asymptomatic people that aren't showing symptoms that probably have COVID. So then you might be looking at a death rate close to the flu.
Right. I think from what I've done, they did a study in Los Angeles, a pretty extensive study. What I think is the death rate for the flu is 0.1%, 0.1. And I think this is going to end up somewhere true in terms of number of people infected, number of people dying will be somewhere around 0.7. So, you can say, oh, it's 7 times more deadly than the flu. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean, an awful lot in terms of, it's still a relatively low number, but it's a number that definitely is concerning. You can't just, go back to normal. So, and the thing is, we have no idea what September looks like.
Right.
So the only thing that I will say has changed is before I was 95% positive that we're going to have a season of both college football and the NFL. Now I'm leaning more towards 70% maybe positive. Oof. So yeah, I'm having my doubts because
I'm less than that, big dog. I'm like I'm like 60-40.
Correct. That's what I think. Dookie is a 99.03 survival rate, which is exactly what I think.
Dookie Blossom.
Yeah,
that's a good name.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, listen. In terms of the lockdown, at some point, man, I take high blood pressure medication. So I am a person like me, older, takes high blood pressure medication, is heavy. I need to keep myself isolated. But young, healthy people, man, you can't stay locked down forever. So I get that. I do get that.
Well, you heard about Dade, right? Well, I showed you what Dade basically came on and said. They said you can't step foot outside of your house without a mask on.
Yeah.
You could be looking at 60 days in jail or a $500 fine.
I saw. See, that's where to me it's they start losing the plot. They start going beyond the pale because the way this should work in a free society is have people do the right thing because they believe it's the right thing to do, not mandating stuff like that. Because then you start going and you're overstepping, and then that's when you start having people.
No, I agree. I agree with the laws that are in effect when it comes to indoor facilities. Like you have to wear a mask if you go into the grocery store. Or
let's talk about this. Let's talk about the truth. Okay, right. Fauci has admitted that they lied earlier. When they told people, Fauci admitted that when they told people that they didn't need masks, it was because they didn't want there to be a run on masks, and then hospital personnel would not have masks. So he admitted that was not true back then.
Right, but that doesn't take away from the importance of possibly having a mask or not.
No, I understand. What I'm saying is when you start implementing this by force on Americans, you're crossing the line.
It's not a good. Yeah, it's not a good.
It's not the way you should approach this, man. It's not. It's saying to people, hey, people like me, all right, you guys, please wear masks. Please limit going out. Please limit being in large crowds, just because you're susceptible to dying if you get this. Yeah. Okay.
Thomas, I understand there are people that are reckless and there are people, but my problem is if I have nobody around me, okay, because you got to be with 6 feet, social distancing, whatever. If I'm not indoors, if I'm not around people, you're gonna tell me I still gotta wear a mask? Come on, man.
All right.
And if I don't, you're gonna fine me or throw me in jail. That's where the problem's gonna come into play. Like that's not. I think that's overstepping, frankly. You know, by the local government. So that's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. You want to get to Richard Hill wanted to talk about linebacker depth, and PJ Worth talks about. Let me do PJ Worth first about being surprised about Jaron Williams transferring to the JUCO school. For you guys that not aware, Jaron Williams is going to transfer to Garden City Community College. I think. Well, I was surprised, PJ, but I think there's a great issue there. I think there's a great issue that that he ended up picking community college. So I think there was a problem. You know, listen, the fact that he wasn't working hard in practice and he wasn't doing the things off the field that he should have been doing, I'm sure that spread to the classroom too. So that's what I believe, the reason why Jaron went to Garden City Community College instead of a major 4-year university program. I think there's some issues there with grades. In terms of linebacker depth, I did hear some good things today that Wayman Steed seems to be getting healthy and getting back to 100%. I think the same thing is going to be the case with Bradley Jennings. So that's obviously going to affect our linebacker depth. Oh man, how do I say this without it sounding like I'm taking a shot at our prior linebackers? Okay, I'll say it this way. The only thing that we've lost at the linebacker position is experience. But in terms of athleticism and ability, we had some. When you talk about guys like Avery Huff, Sam Brooks, Tyreek Austin Cave. Listen, Tyreek Austin Cave was running track for his high school. Okay, that's at 210 pounds already in high school. Okay, so in terms of talent and ability, we've improved at the linebacker position. Now, in terms of depth, Richard, the biggest concern I have is Wayman Steed. Now, it's not just, remember, he's been injured going back to his junior year of high school. So, and you're talking about a guy who's had major surgery now on both knees.
Right.
I do have some concerns in terms of depth, but in terms of frontline talent, we're much better. We're much better, I think, than we were. Now, that doesn't mean that they're always going to play better, because Shaq and Pinckney were 4-year starters. Okay. By the way, Zach McLeod made the All-ACC. I think he made third team also. Might have been second team. McLeod. So they actually put McLeod on there. And I do think Zach McLeod's going to have an amazing season at middle linebacker. I do. I think he's going to be really, really good. And then you have Sam Brooks at the striker. We have Gilbert Frierson, and we have Keontra Smith. And then we still have Patrick Joyner in the mix at linebacker, Bradley Jennings, Wayman Steed, Tyreek Austin Cave, Corey Flagg. So in terms of depth, Richard, I feel good, but we're outside of McLeod, we're lacking experience.
Yeah, but that sums it up right there, Thomas. We lost experience, but definitely gained athleticism and speed.
But
that's what it comes down to.
That's my point. And I know it sounds like I'm taking a shot at Shaq and Pinckney, but it's the reality, man. The guys that we have now are much better athletes. They just are. They just are. So we'll lose, like I said, in experience. And sometimes because of experience, you're going to have blown assignments. You're going to have blown assignments. But I think, and our secondary is going to be excellent. I mean, listen, Al Blades, people forget Al Blades. I think I saw the Pro Football Focus. I think that when he was targeted, they ended up with like a 40-something completion percentage. And he was only credited with allowing one touchdown in the season. So now you have Al Blades has an entire season of starting behind him at corner. And you're going to have Christian Williams and Corey Couch ready to step in and provide depth.
Right.
So I'm happy with our secondary. Obviously, our defensive line is tremendous. And Richard, I'm not that's more or less why I see our linebacker depth. We lack experience, but we have a lot of athleticism there. And then All right, I covered the other. Any word on Willie Moyes? Anthony was talking about. Interesting, Anthony. You know, I wasn't happy with what happened with Willie Moyes. I don't know. From what I can read in the tea leaves, I think there's still a great issue there for Willie. But I did hear that the Canes had not given up on the idea of him being a Hurricane. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Willie.
Yeah. Brandon, that's a little too high for me for Al Blades. Yeah. I don't see that kind of potential, but you know,
top 3 rounds for sure. I see that potential in terms of upside.
Third rounder, yeah,
I see that.
I mean, we would need to see, in my opinion, a significant jump in production.
But the talent is there without
first round talent.
I don't know how well he's going to test.
I
don't think he'll test. Maybe high 4.4.
And you guys know me, man. I love me some Al Blades.
We both love Al Blades. I mean, that's one of our. Let's face. I mean, the Blades family.
Well, remember,
they have a position, and that is the U family. Right. Blades family is the U.
Yeah, but when you're talking about first round talent, you need to be one of the best corners in college football.
So when he was singled out in terms of they've thrown at him, quarterbacks had like a 40, I think it was like a 44, 43 for completion percentage, which is really good for a cornerback. And he only allowed 1 touchdown, which is really good for a cornerback. So he has that talent. My concern with him, but you're right, I need to see a really good year, and he needs to test well in order for him to be a first rounder. So
hopefully I'm wrong, man. I pray I'm wrong. But, you know, I mean, you know, late second, early third, I think that's possible.
I did see them. Kane said that we see Blades numbers compared to Okudah. I did see that. The thing is, Okudah tested well.
Really well.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't see Al on tape, at least. I don't see him being under a 4.48, 4.49 at his best. So, and they're not, that's the thing, Thomas. He won't test like Okudah. So that to me is the biggest thing with Al Blades in terms of where he's going to get drafted.
Yeah.
But I do think he should get drafted in a third rounder for sure.
Shout out to Mr. Roberts. Says good evening.
What do you say, George? Good evening,
family.
Mr. Roberts, how are you, sir? Looking forward. I can't wait to see Elijah. I know he's been working hard.
I've been watching those videos. I've been seeing those videos on Twitter. I see him. He's putting in the work for sure. Yeah. Yeah, Brandon. That I agree with. If we can get guys to graduate instead of leave early, maybe.
Yeah, listen. There's a reality, guys, that has to be that these college players need to understand, and that is when you stay that extra year and you get drafted earlier, the team's more invested in you.
Right.
Okay. So you're going to get multiple opportunities. When you get drafted late, many times you're going to get 1 shot. You know, and they need to understand that. So if they stay that extra year, people say, well, he would have been drafted in the 5th round and he was drafted in the 2nd. That's a huge difference. That's a huge difference because it's not just a difference in money. That's not what I'm talking about. When you draft somebody in the 2nd round, it's because you see him developing into a starter. So that guy's going to get multiple opportunities. When you draft him in the 5th round, you're going to get 1 shot, and it's sink or swim a lot of times. You know, because you got to remember it's constant turnover.
You're breaking
I know Sean Wooden was a safety for a long time.
Is Big Dog breaking up for you guys?
How about now?
Is Big Dog breaking up for you guys, or is he choppy?
How about now?
Is it just me?
George Roberts said everybody's doing great. They've been busy. And Elijah, for you guys that didn't know, I'm sorry. George Roberts is Elijah Roberts' dad. He says he's ready to move in on the 28th. That's awesome, George. That is awesome. I'm so excited to see what Elijah turns into. I am so excited. You know what I think is going to be his future, so we'll see. I mean, they've talked about using him as on both on the end and the tackle, but I would so love to see Elijah Roberts as a 3-technique defensive tackle. I think he would be an absolute monster. So we'll see.
All right, we're back.
Now it's back to normal. Good. Thank you, Berg. Yeah. Look at DPGC Miami 305 said Blades was number 2 in PDU, and it was the number 1 was the number 1 was the Ohio State player that went top 10. It is. No, listen. I was impressed with Al Blades. I really was. Not so much with DJ Ivy, which a lot of people had him higher, which I did, and I had Blades higher in my book. My only concern with Al is how well is he going to test. And you guys know in the NFL, man, they're going with that a lot more than I wouldn't say they've always gone with that. They always want, but I think that's become
the combine is. I mean, I've seen a lot of people jump up just because of what they did in the combine compared to their production in college football. Man.
Guys, so one of the things
it's more important, in my opinion, to test really well. If you're comparing, like, if you're a very productive player in college football, but you don't test well in the combine, whereas if you're an average productive player in college football and you test really well in the combine, you're probably gonna get drafted higher than the player that was really productive in college football and tested okay in the combine. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Like they put a lot of emphasis in the combine, man. So you need to test.
This is something that I will tell you 100%. Look at Jake Fromm. What happened with Jake Fromm? Now we're talking about a quarterback, and a quarterback tape matters the most, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a believer that Jake Fromm, because what happened in the combine, for you guys that don't know, is that Jake Fromm was forced to throw in between in between Herbert and Eason. So Jacob Eason and Herbert were sandwiching Jake Fromm. And I think the reason that Fromm fell was he looked so bad in comparison to the 2 biggest arms in the draft. You know, that was the problem. The 2 biggest arms in this draft was Herbert and Eason.
Right.
And so you got to test well, man. Now, it doesn't mean you can run a 4.5 or a 4.6 and end up being a really good player in the NFL if you get that shot. But in terms of where you get drafted, you need to test well.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me, and I want to point this out though, in terms of what I'm concerned about, I care about tape overall. I don't care about how you look in shorts. I don't care what your body looks like. I want to see tape. And Junior knows. Okay, when have you seen me fall in love with somebody because how they test?
No.
You've never seen me.
No.
I talk about it because it's part of the picture.
Yeah.
But all I care about is tape. Because all I watch is tape.
Yeah.
If you tell me this guy is a stud, I want to see tape.
Yeah.
I don't care that much about how he looks in shorts.
Right.
But that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, man, I was going to mess with what's Aberdeen. Junior and the Big Dog live wouldn't be complete, man, without him saying that Manny Diaz is the best coach in college football.
George Roberts to put up his copy. He said he had a talk this morning, and he said it doesn't matter where they place him. He said he just wants to bring the competition during practice and build better depth so we can see a better product. That's awesome. Junior, man, you brought up a really good young man, George.
Listen, man, that's
you
what
and Shonda have a lot to be proud of.
100%. That's what the U is all about, man. Bringing that competition on Green Tree and now the Carol Sulphur. And listen, man, making everybody better, making each other better, making yourself better as a football player, and it all comes down to competition, man, competing. Yeah. And that's what we got to see. And I think
I just think
a lot of people in this, a lot of kids in this recruiting class share, that same aspect, that they want to compete.
I just see Elijah as a 3-technique defensive tackle. I think he would be an absolute beast.
Yeah. Hey,
that's
man.
I know, and people. It wasn't like I was a big guy on Fromm. My point was only that he fell even more. And I agree, he was a game manager and had a lot of talent around him. Although, to be fair, and the wide receiver depth was horrible. You got to remember, Lawrence Cager was a starter. Okay, over there. So they had some issues there in terms of weapons. But I wasn't that I was big on Fromm. It's just I believe in the combine, they go by alphabetical order, but they go by your first name. So the fact is, he threw between Jacob Eason and Justin Herbert.
All right. Hold the phone.
I called him Jordan before. And Justin Herbert.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Okay. I've been waiting for this to happen tonight. And I'm glad we were just about to get off, and I'm glad we caught it. Mr. Birmingham Kane. As soon as we got off,
yes,
2 weeks ago,
that's right,
hit us with a $100 donation. And Birmingham Kane, I did not want you. We didn't get to thank you, man. And I did not. I don't want you to think, man, that me and the big dog, don't appreciate it or we forgot about it. But I've been waiting for you, man. I've been waiting for you to jump on here because I wanted to address you and I wanted to thank you properly, man. Thank you so much. Me and the big dog, thank you so much for that extremely generous donation, man. And unfortunately, you did it right as soon as we got off, man. So literally, I saw it and I was like, big dog, what? Like, hey, you blew us out of the water with that, man. So thank you so much. And not, everybody that donates, everybody that contributes to the channel, man. Thank you so much, man. But I had to address that, man, because Birmingham, man, you lit it up with that donation, man, 2 weeks ago. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for the donation. And we gotta bounce, man. We gotta bounce because my kids are. I gotta start getting my kids ready. They eat at 9, so I gotta bathe them and do all that good stuff, man. But listen. Thank you so much, man, for joining us, Mr. Roberts, and everybody else in here, man, for joining us tonight. If anybody is watching us on YouTube or Facebook and you're new to our channel, please subscribe. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you're part of the Rewatch Squad, share to your friends, your family, whoever it is, man. Me and the big dog, we cover Miami Hurricanes football and sports, and we go live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We do player breakdowns. We cover recruiting. We do it all, man. Post game, reactions, everything that you need for Miami Hurricanes football is here on the best father and son duo when it comes to Miami Hurricanes football, man. So, thank you so much for everybody that contributed to us tonight and for joining us. We had over 100 people in the chat, man. And as slow as things are right now with football, I mean, it's crazy to get that amount of people in here, man. So, like I said, man, thank you so much for everybody joining us. You got anything to add, Big Dog?
I just want to tell everybody, I want you guys to know that not a day goes by that we don't realize all of you are a blessing to us, to both Junior and I, and we never take it for granted. And thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah. So that being said, man, we will be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, God willing.
Yes, so, I had to take a trip down to Georgia, guys, last week, and that's why I wasn't back on time in order to do the show. But we will be there every Wednesday and some extra videos all throughout. And Cohen and everybody else. God bless all of you.
And prayers to HJS and his family as well, man. Don't forget his father-in-law tested positive, and HJS and his family were with him this weekend, man. So they're awaiting test results. So HJS, Zoe, your whole family, they will be in our prayers, man. God willing, we get some good news on next Wednesday. Or if you can, man, hit us up in the comment section when you find out some news, man. We would really appreciate that to make sure that everything is good, man. So, we wish your father and all the best, man, and we hope that everything turns out good, man. So, hey, that being said, man, as always,
it's all about this you. Thank you guys. Good night. You guys have a great one.
Have a good night, guys.